Hi, my name is Nathan. I go by Peteparker on a lot of different websites that I frequent. Some of those include Comic Vine, the Marvel Database, and iFanboy. And every week I review comic books that I buy, because the rule around my house is I can buy comic books if I review them online. So I buy a small handful, usually Marvel-centric, and I review them. This review will be about Generation Hope number 6, which was written by Kieran Gillen and penciled by Salva Espin. A little bit of background: I was looking for an extra book to throw in the mix of the series that I typically buy, and thought I'd try something new. And I was a big fan of how Hope was when she first returned from being trained with Cable in the future. So I thought Generation Hope might have some of the elements of that story that I liked a lot. In case you don't know who Generation Hope is, there's a group of 5 or 6 mutants who were born after Hope arrived. There are the last 6 mutants to be born or have powers activated since the Scarlet Witch said no more mutants as a result of the end of House of M. So basically, as a team, they get together and they seek out the newest mutants that are born or come up on the grid, and try to, Hope's touch, I guess, helps them control the powers that they have problems with. So it's basically a young X-Men type of team led by Hope, who is kind of a new character of herself. And I think my main problem with this book was that I was picking it up cold. It's possible that if I had been reading this book from number 1, only 6 issues ago, or even before that, I might be more interested in what's happening with this, but it just didn't grab me. The ideas are interesting. There's 2 ideas in the book that are really great. One is a girl who can fly. When she reaches super speeds or something, her body morphs to make it easier for her to fly better, and that's her up at the top. She's got the blue skin. They found that out. That's kind of cool. And then the end resulting part of the story was they fly to Berlin to find the newest mutant that popped up on the grid, and it turns out to be an unborn child inside a woman who didn't want to be born and has powers of the mind. Puts a lot of people to sleep, makes them think what it's thinking, which is somehow English. Lots of other things. Well, and it's kind of spoiled by the cover too. If you really put thought into the cover before you went ahead and read the whole thing, I kind of said, "Oh, that's interesting," and kept going. But so there's 2 kind of cool elements, and they do a good job in this book of introducing everybody that's on the team. So really, if you were going to start reading Generation Hope, this book's a good place to get to know these characters and what their powers are, and what their names are, and that kind of thing, and maybe some of the drawbacks to their powers. But in general, it wasn't all that interesting. And maybe it's just because it's not big enough, or I don't know the characters enough. But it looks like it's just going to be a fill-in issue for me, something that I just tried out, and maybe I'll flip through the books in the future. But I don't see myself buying this again. I was really kind of disappointed with the way that Hope is portrayed. I was expecting more of her soldier-esque abilities, and more of her reflection of Cable through her, through her characterization. But I guess she's not really in there very much either, and they're all kind of young. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It was okay. The art was fine, the story was fine, but there really wasn't in there anything in there that I would really say was great. So 3 out of 5, there you go. If you're really interested in getting into Generation Hope, this is probably a good spot to jump in on. But if you're not interested, don't worry, you're not missing anything. Alright, check out my other reviews, either on YouTube, or you can check it out iFanboy or Marvel Database. That's where I do most of the work that I do. And until then, I will see you next time.